You're listening to Weight Loss for Life Coaches, Episode 19, with Master Certified Life and Weight Loss Coach, Paige Bowman.
Welcome to Weight Loss for Life Coaches, the weekly podcast for coaches who are growing their coaching business and on their weight loss journey. Each week, we'll be tackling why weight loss feels hard and how to make hitting your weight loss goal the simplest thing you do all day. Hello, and welcome to today's episode. We are going to be talking about diets and dieting, what those words mean, my stance on diets and dieting, and then at the end, I'll offer you some powerful questions for you to ponder on and consider your stance on diets and dieting. But first, if you're listening to this real time, I am hosting, the day this comes out, a webinar called The 3 Super Simple Steps to Losing 25 Pounds, and I would love for you to join me. You can sign up for the webinar today by going to my Instagram at LifeCoachPageB and clicking the link in my bio, and you'll get an email with the Zoom details. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, so today. I would love for you to join me and learn more about the 3 super simple steps and why they really are the tool to lose your next 25 pounds. Come join me at 6, and it'll be an hour with plenty of time to answer your questions. And I've been telling people to bring a notebook and get ready to start implementing the 3 super simple steps as soon as the webinar is over. And if you haven't heard me talk about the 3 super simple steps, just go ahead and listen to episode 5 of this podcast, and then you'll be ready for the webinar. Okay, so let's talk about diets and dieting. I looked at the definition and I found the New Oxford American Dictionary gives us 2 definitions. So the first one says, a diet is the kinds of food that a person, animal, or community habitually eats. The second definition says, a special course of food to which one restricts oneself either to lose weight or for medical reasons. So I personally don't see a problem with using the word diet. I mean, if you think about that first definition, it's just talking about the way you eat, really. So you could just say, this is my diet. For example, I love eating salads for lunch, and I love eating lots of veggies, some protein, and some fats at dinner. That's my diet. I like to eat just 2 times a day. I try to stay away from dairy as much as possible. I try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. And that's just my diet. That's the way I eat. You might also hear people talking about diets when it comes to maybe something like a gluten-free diet or a vegan diet. So they're explaining maybe if they have a special circumstances, or they're getting more specific in telling you how they eat. I know my dog, for example, is on a hypoallergenic diet. So the way she eats is she eats this food that doesn't have processed foods in it or gluten in the dog food, so that she feels better when she has her meals. In my one-on-one coaching program, where I take coaches through for 6 months, we go through 5 steps in my program, and the last step is what I call a protocol. So their goal is to lose weight most of the time. And we go through the first 4 steps, and then by the 5th step, we get to the protocol. And a protocol is just, the way I explain it, is just guidelines to how a person eats. And the way I have my clients do it is they'll set a protocol to test or experiment out and see if the way they eat on that protocol, if they like it or not. So in a way, the protocol is very similar to the word diet. So I don't mind that first definition. In fact, that's how, when I hear the word diet, or if you ever hear me say diet, that's usually what I'm talking about. It's the second definition of the word diet that has me hesitate from using the word. And the stigma really around this idea of restricting to lose weight. And I did some research for this episode, and I found this article from Colorado State University. I will link this article in the show notes. And it listed all of these types of fad diets that have been around for a long time and even newer ones and cleanses as well. I know a few of these I've heard of. The lemonade diet, where you drink lemon and cayenne pepper, and I know there's a mixture of those to lose weight. There's the cabbage soup diet. I have never heard of that one. Googled it. It's definitely a thing. So it's this second definition where, especially in our culture, where it's become a fad thing. Let's restrict. Maybe we're restricting how we eat or how often or what we eat so we can lose weight. And then we stop the diet or we stop the restriction, and then we still have the same habits and the same relationship with food and with our emotions. And then we go back to eating the way we were and not much has changed. And then we might end up putting the weight back on. And then if you're anything like me, then it becomes this back and forth thing. I know that I've done the dieting thing according to the second definition, where I've restricted my food. I even included excessive exercise, and I just changed things up a little bit to lose weight, but it wasn't something that was long term. So even when I did lose weight, I would feel terrified that I would just put the weight back on. And so I didn't feel good while I was dieting. And then I didn't feel good when I got to my weight goal. And I was like, I know something is not adding up here. What is going on? Why does this keep happening? So I knew that when I found my coach's Stop Overeating program, I knew that I had found something different, because what she was teaching me was more about mindset and the way I was thinking about food and about my emotions, and helping me understand why I wanted to use food to feel better and where that even came from. And then I realized, okay, it's less that I need to restrict my food, but more that I need to understand my food. I need to understand why I'm eating what I'm eating. Where did I learn to go to food to feel better? Is that something I want to keep doing? How I can start paying attention to my body signals and really use my hunger signals to decide when it's time to start eating. What an urge or craving even is, and what to do about it when I have them. So I was picking up these new habits and these skills. And I know on this podcast, I've talked about things like the hunger and fullness scale. I know we've talked about feelings on this podcast, and those are all things that I learned with my coach's program and not with dieting at all. And I wasn't just restricting my food to lose weight this last time. I was changing my lifestyle. And that's when I realized, okay, that's what I needed. I didn't need to restrict. I didn't need to go on a diet. I needed to reprogram my brain and really change my relationship to food. Not only food, though, I needed to change my relationship to my body and my emotions and myself. And that's exactly what I did. I changed my relationship to food, where I saw food as fuel, not something that's main job is to provide me entertainment. I changed my relationship to my body, and I got so much more comfortable feeling my emotions. So I needed food less to make my emotions go away. And I got more comfortable sitting with urges and cravings and not giving into them. And I changed my relationship to myself. So I can be around myself and I can be bored, or I can feel uncomfortable or anxious, but I can be with my own brain and my body, and I don't need to make that go away. I don't need to eat to stop hearing my own thoughts. I can just be by myself and not make that go away with food. Now, am I perfect at it? No, I am a human. I tell my clients I am not perfect, and I am still a work in progress, but it's so much easier on this journey of being a human and continuing to grow and evolve and be able to do these things and be more uncomfortable and feel even more emotions and do big things in my business and continue not needing food, or seeing where, okay, it turns out in that scenario, I did feel like I needed food to feel better, but I know what to do about that. I know how to be an observer of myself, and I know how to learn from that and then move on. So I've changed my relationship with myself, something that dieting never offered me. And remember from episode 1, what is simple weight loss? 2 words. 2 words make up the definition of simple weight loss. It's got to be maintainable and doable. So when you think of a diet, that first definition, it nicely fits in. Diet is just the way you eat. That's all that first definition means. But when you think of that second definition, ask yourself, do you want to restrict with dieting just to lose weight? Or do you want to change your relationship with food and yourself for the long run? So I guess that was a sneaky, powerful question to think about. And for me, my stance on it, I'll never go on a diet again. After I lost the first 10 to 15 pounds, I remember I gained back a couple of pounds, and I remember thinking or hearing really my brain offer me the thought, hey, we should go on a cleanse. We should go drink that shake we used to drink back in the day. And we should just order some of that, drink that for a few days and reset. And I remember realizing that I could hear that pop up into my brain and not believe that that's what we do. It was like, oh, that is something we used to do. Thank you, brain. It's just trying to help me out. We gained a couple pounds and it thinks that that's how we do things, but we don't do that anymore. We don't diet. We don't crash diet. We don't cleanse. That's my stance on it. I'll never go on a diet again. I will just continue to appreciate the relationship I have with food and my body and myself now, and then also grow it and continue to make it better as time goes on. And for me, that means not going on a diet and not restricting myself. Okay, so here are your official powerful questions for this episode. What impact could I be missing out on when I only restrict my food when I'm dieting? I really want you to think about this question and think about the impact of if you were to stop overeating using what I call reprogramming your mind. So changing the way you think about things to lose weight. Think about the impact of doing that for the rest of your life, and then think about how that's what you are missing out on if you try to lose weight by going on a diet. So it's really just having you open your mind to what you could be missing out on. Would you be willing to no longer go on a diet? Could you consider that as a possibility? When you hear me talk about never going on a diet again, what comes up for you? What do you think about? Does that sound possible for you? And this last one is, what would it be like to have a different relationship with food than you have right now? I really want you to think about, again, that impact of not just dieting and restricting to lose weight, but changing your relationship with food. What if food could be, yes, enjoyable, but mainly just used as fuel, not the thing that you go to for entertainment or to feel better, to make your anxiety or overwhelm go away, but it's just fuel. All right, that is today's episode. A little chat about diets and dieting, giving you my opinion and where I stand on the subject, but also helping you understand diets and dieting a little bit more and how that definition could serve you and how that definition might not be serving you, and just something to think about along with those powerful questions. And just know whatever you do decide, that's what's best for you. I always like to say, you know what's best for you. I say it to my clients all the time. I know what's best for me, but I wanted this episode to be on the podcast so that you knew where I stood, but also to help you open your mind up to what else is possible other than dieting. Okay, and just a reminder, the webinar is today when this podcast comes out. If you're listening to it in real time, it's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can sign up by going to the link in my bio on Instagram at LifeCoachPageB, or I will put the link in the show notes. All right, y'all, I'll see you next week. Bye.